160 miles per hour, room for 386 people. This is the next generation Acela. It's set to usher in a new era of travel in the Northeast, and today, you get a first look. As we travel from Washington, D.C. to New York City, we'll answer all your questions about America's fastest train. Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new Trains Are Awesome video. I'm Tom. I am standing in front of Washington Union Station. This is a big video. I can barely contain my excitement. After years of waiting, we are finally riding the next generation Acela. This is the fastest train in the Americas. Let's go inside. What better place to start this trip than Washington Union Station? This magnificent building is one of my favorite stations. Walk through the doors and you'll find yourself in the main hall. Under the watchful eye of 46 plaster legionnaires, people in suits head towards the Capitol, families embrace after a long trip, and weary-eyed travelers wait in line for coffee. Union Station opened in 1908 as part of a plan to consolidate all rail service in Washington into one place. Before that, trains crisscrossed the National Mall. Today, the station serves as the southern end of Amtrak's electrified Northeast Corridor, where frequent intercity trains depart to cities like Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. Long-distance trains stop here as well, as do commuter trains. Union Station can be accessed by using the Metro Red Line. So if you're watching this video when it came out, that means it's Thursday, August 28th, and it's the official launch day of the NextGen Acela. However, I am filming this on Wednesday, August 27th. Now, full disclosure, because I believe in doing things like this up front, I was invited by Amtrak to be on the media train today. So it's a day before the real launch, but we're gonna go see the train. I'm gonna give you guys a full look. And then Amtrak did pay for my ticket back, but I'm going to try to remain as objective as possible, although I am very excited. So after I signed in, a staff member guided me to Gate F, which is where the celebration was being held. I got my media badge, which was so cool, and then I stopped by the merch table. They had some great swag. I got a tote bag, hats, stickers, and a journal. And here we have our first look at the NextGen Acela. In the back, we have a power car. These trains are electric, and they have a power car on each end, basically acting like a locomotive. In between, there are 9 passenger cars. So the very first thing I wanted to check out was the first class car, marked by the big red door. But unfortunately, when I tried, somebody inside was giving an interview or a press conference or something. I don't know, but they told me to come back after the speeches. Well, spoiler alert, after the speeches, we all had to board the train, and the first class car was reserved for members of the Department of Transportation, so I never actually got to see this, which I was really bummed out about, and I wish that could have been organized better. Car number 1 is the first class car. Cars 2 through 5 are business class. Car number 6 is the cafe, while 7 and 8 are once again business class. Finally, car number 9 is also business class, but it functions as a quiet car. The new Acelas mark a significant capacity increase over the old ones. The trains themselves are longer than the old Acelas, 9 passenger cars versus 6. While each individual car is a little bit shorter than the ones on the old trains, that still gives the new Acela 82 more seats than the old one. But there will also be more trains, 28 new ones instead of 20 old ones, some of which are also already out of commission. Once all the new trains are delivered and have entered service, Amtrak can run more frequent Acela service on the Northeast Corridor. Starting today, there will be an initial 5 sets ready to enter service. As time goes on, more and more will enter until each set has replaced an old Acela car. When booking on the Amtrak website, there will be a little banner saying NextGen Acela, which will notify you what train type you'll have. High-speed rail fans will recognize this face. It's the same as the new TGVs that are testing in France. The original Acela power cars were based on the older TGVs, and now these ones are like the new TGVs. Behold, the infamous gap. Yes, I know this gap annoys people. I can't say that I love it myself. But does it have a reason for existing, or is it just bad design that the power cars and the passenger cars have a different profile? It does have a reason, and I'll let you decide if it's a good one or not, but let me do that once we're inside and on our way. We've waited long enough to see the inside of these cars. The trains have a retractable step to close the gap between the train and the platform. Come with me, we're about to take our very first steps onto the next generation Acela. Oh, that new train smell. Does anybody know what new train smell is? Like, I know exactly what it smells like, but what causes it? If you know, let me know in the comments. Anyway, this is the business class configuration, a 2x2 layout with these gray leather seats. I can't wait to try them out, but unfortunately I will have to a little bit because we are being called back to the platform. They're telling us to go back to the end of the platform because apparently the celebration is starting. I've never been to a celebration before.
Thousands of jobs across the country were created to build these trains in the United States, and we plan to keep on building them.
I have never seen a project bring together a company with the way this one has.
So we have been able to see how much power of transformation of a new high-speed corridor.
All that's left to say is, all aboard!
When we got our media badges, they came with a sticker telling us which car to sit in for the ride. I got assigned to car 5, a business class car right next to the cafe. Shall we be those people and check out the toilet first? So we have our European style button toilet. Changing table. Sink. Let's see. Well, so far it's just the water that's working. Okay, so here we have 2 luggage storage racks. Although I think this one is where you put big suitcases. And this one is for smaller ones. And then there's the racks above, of course. So I've been on the train for a few minutes now and I have not tried out the seats yet. Let's do that. So I switched to a table seat because, it's nice to have the space. The table is one of those that kind of folds out to become bigger. Also because the seat aligns with the window better here. So about the seats, they're very comfortable. A little bit firmer than the old ones, but that's an age thing. They recline, but they have that same recline as the Midwest Venture cars where the seat cushion on the bottom scoots forward rather than that the seat back leans back. And then another new feature is that they have these individualized reading lights located in the seat cushion.
Amtrak's a celebration train, the first and historic ride on our NextGen Acela high-speed service from Washington, D.C. to New York City, making an intermediate stop in Philadelphia's 30th Street station. We welcome our special guests on board for this incredible day. Before we depart, I'd like your attention, please. At Amtrak, your safety is our priority. So please take a moment to review the safety instructions card behind the seat back in front of you and make note of the emergency exit instructions and signs throughout the train. When storing your personal items, place smaller items on the overhead baggage rack or underneath the seat in front of you. Store larger bags in the luggage towers in your car. Here are some things to know. Cap car number 6. Our service attendants will be making announcements about the food and beverage offerings after our departure. Recycling and trash containers are available in between each car. Enjoy our smooth, comfortable, high-speed ride to New York City.
I wish the screens would tell you how fast we're going. So the big question, of course, is how do I charge my phone or my laptop? Well, all the seats come with individual power outlets. You've got the USB ones in here. They're not the USB-C, but these trains are a little bit older than that. And then below the seats, you have your regular American-style power socket. For wheelchair users, there's a designated space, and they too have power sockets in this kind of console type thingy. Additionally, the train windows are larger than on the older trains, and they have these blinds that roll down very easily. Anyway, let's have a wander around the train. We'll walk at least as far as we're allowed to. So car 5 was clearly the influencer car, except I think there were only 3 of us on this portion of the trip. It was nice and empty. Occasionally, some news crews from places like ABC News, Bloomberg would come in and do their little spiel. I gotta say, I think they do more retakes than I do when recording stuff. But an advantage of being in car 5 was that car 6 is the cafe car, so it was an easy stroll to get some goodies. If you've watched my videos on the old Acela, you'll know that the cafe car is my favorite, but it is in dire need of an upgrade. Well, the NextGen Acela definitely brings that upgrade. You've still got your regular counter that prepares hot food. I love the digital displays that show the menu. It's definitely an upgrade. The cafe now also features cart service, and they briefly demonstrated how it would roll down the aisles of the passenger compartments. So we're in the tunnels on our approach to Baltimore Penn Station, and I just checked out the cafe car. One of the perks of being in car 5 is car 6 is the cafe. And this NextGen Acela has a new concept that I haven't seen on other Amtrak trains yet, the self-serve kiosk. So some of the refrigerated food and the sodas and stuff, you can grab them yourself and then check out at a little screen, a kiosk. For hot food, you still have to go to the attendant and they'll prepare it in the back for you. It looks beautiful in there. But today they're only serving the cold food and they're not charging us, so I grabbed a sandwich and a soda. So because it was the Celebration Press and Dignitary run, they had some extra treats out for people to grab. So I had a few of those, but I also made sure to grab something from the kiosk since I wanted to try it out. I got a ham sandwich and a soda. I'm not gonna lie, the ride itself is a little bit less smooth than I was expecting. I was walking around the train and there were quite a bit of vibrations, and obviously you need a little bit of sea legs to get used to the tilts, but I mean, these seats are incredibly comfortable. I don't really want to get up again. Maybe the only time I'll ever ride on a train that just passes through Baltimore. We're not stopping until Philadelphia. One tiny thing I don't love is that when you're at the table seat, the pole for the table kind of gets in the way of getting up. But that does remind me that I have to review the seats that aren't table seats. They're basically the same, they just have the tray table, just like the old trains, except unlike the old trains, it comes with a cup holder and it's not constantly broken.
It's been fun seeing some friends, meeting some new ones, but we've got a little bit of time until Philadelphia, so let's answer some of those questions.
So Amtrak is calling this train the NextGen Acela. Some people call it the Acela too, but perhaps you've also heard the name Avelia Liberty. So what are these trains actually called? At Amtrak, they're called the Next Generation Acela. Likely, once the old Acelas fully retire, I imagine it will just be Acela. Avelia Liberty is the product name that Alstom, the manufacturer of these trains, has given it. This is a common thing train builders do. Think of the Siemens Velaro or the Stadler Flirt. Theoretically, other agencies could also buy their own Avelia Liberty, but they couldn't call it the Acela. That's an Amtrak name. This is actually part of the reason why the passenger cars and the power cars have profiles that don't match. Amtrak wanted a tilting train. The Northeast Corridor isn't a dedicated high-speed line like you see in other countries. It's an old railway line, upgraded in different sections to let trains travel at higher speeds. But that does mean that it has quite a few curves. Tilting technology allows a train to go faster when there is a curve, because it mitigates some of the effects of the curve and gives passengers a more comfortable experience on board. Because the tilt is specifically for passengers, it's not needed on the power cars. Now, Alstom has built lots of tilting trains for different countries. Think of the famous Pendolino trains that run in places like Switzerland, Italy. The passenger cars on the new Acela are based on the Pendolino. The power cars are instead based on the Avelia Horizon, the new high-speed trains that Alstom is building for the TGV in France. Those trains do not tilt. Why would you combine the two, though? The examples of the tilting trains that I brought up earlier, they don't have power cars. The whole train matches. Well, there's no confirmed answer to this question, but here's the most likely answer. Speed. See, the top speed of the Acela is 160 miles per hour, a speed any of Alstom's tilting products can reach. But it seems that Alstom was hoping that the Avelia Liberty would also attract more customers than just Amtrak. See, out west, there are some high-speed rail projects that will eventually need trains capable of much higher speeds, up to 220 miles per hour. Alstom's tilting trains can't reach these speeds, but their power cars can. So it is said that they designed the Avelia Liberty with future orders in mind, to create something that they can sell to California High-Speed Rail, for example. We'll see how that goes, though. I know Brightline West just went with Siemens.
I mean, the CEO of Alstom said it himself. These are the most modern trains in the world, according to him, because they combine the high-speed power cars with the tilting passenger cars.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments we will arrive at our first station stop, Philadelphia's 30th Street Station. If you're leaving us at 30th Street Station, please take this time to gather all personal belongings. Check the overhead luggage racks, please check the seat pockets in front of you, and double check all around and under your seating area, making sure you have everything you boarded the train with. Philadelphia will be next.
How amazing is it to see all these new Acelas in the yard in Philadelphia, but this time from the window of one of the new Acelas. A big improvement, if you ask me.
Now, there is one more question that I'm sure is at the top of everybody's mind. What is up with the delay? It's August 2025. Weren't these supposed to enter service way earlier? Well, that is a hard question to answer. Nobody seems to be able to agree. The original Acela entered service in 2000. 16 years later, in 2016, it was announced that Alstom had been selected to build the replacement fleet for the original Acela. 2016 was 9 years ago. For reference, Obama was president. But we couldn't know what the next decade would have in store. Alstom is a French company, like I said, famous for building trains like the TGV. But Buy America laws dictate that the trains would have to be built in the United States. So they were constructed at Alstom's factory in Hornell, in upstate New York. They were supposed to enter service in 2021. The construction involved suppliers from 27 states and 1,300 American jobs. It was a $2.5 billion investment in the American economy. The first set was delivered for testing in 2020. The hope was for it to enter service in 2022. The date pushed back because of production delays caused by the pandemic, which is fair. There were lots of trains in Europe too that were delayed for entering service because of pandemic supply chain issues. They also had to modify the design a little bit because this was essentially a European train being built for American tracks. These modifications continued throughout the testing period. For example, the pantograph on one of the prototypes had trouble drawing power for the train. But it was believed that by the end of 2022, all the new trains would have entered service and the old Acelas would be able to retire. A good thing, because the old Acelas are kind of falling apart. In 2022, though, they pushed back the launch to fall of 2023, with Amtrak saying that they needed more time to test the articulated cars. See, on this train, 2 cars rest on one set of wheels, or truck, which is quite common in Europe, but it needed to be tested more on Amtrak's network. 2023 came and went. Launch date was pushed back to 2024 because of issues like shattered windows and lead in pipes. A huge issue has also been computer modeling for the Northeast Corridor. Apparently, Alstom's digital models of the tracks were not up to date, and fixing this took a lot of time as well. In 2025, it kind of seemed as though they might never enter service. The yard in Philadelphia was full of these trains. But then crew certification runs began. Amtrak even accidentally said online that they would enter service in May before quickly changing it and converting it to summer 2025. Well, that prediction was finally right for a change, because here we are, late summer 2025, on the new Acela. I still can't believe it. Now, the conversation I see all over the internet is, who's to blame? And many people seem to fault Alstom with a delayed timeline. I don't know personally, but I will say that that is something all parties involved, Alstom, Amtrak, the government, should do better on, communicating clearly. I had to spend a few hours digging through old newspaper articles, forums, and Reddit posts just to present you with the information I just did. I get that Amtrak maybe doesn't want the Times Square Jumbotron to feature everything that went wrong, but this whole, it's entering service now, oh no wait, it's later, it'll be now, oh wait, it's very frustrating as a passenger, and let's be real, as a taxpayer. Is the uncertainty really better for Amtrak and Alstom's reputations? Amtrak's ordering a lot of new rolling stock in the next few years, so I am hoping that these procurements will go a lot better.
I mean, I could ask CEO Roger Harris. He's sitting right across from me, but maybe I'll leave the investigative journalism for a different occasion. So we're almost in New York City. This train will run all the way until Boston, but New York is it for me. Let's talk about riding the NextGen Acela. And I really want to focus on the positives here because there are so many. Most important, I think, to you guys, the seats. I genuinely do think they're a good replacement of the old Acela. The old Acela seats, of course, are very comfortable. These might need to be worked in a little bit, but for the 2.5 hours I was on board, I was very comfortable. I also like that the shades are easy to use and that every seat has its own power socket, so you're not reaching over other people anymore. In terms of the onboard atmosphere, I think the big windows and the bright lights, as well as the light colors, really help make it a more pleasant atmosphere. I mean, you get on board, there's great signage, everything is automatic, so you don't have to press any buttons when you walk between the vestibules, and it just feels like a 21st century train. Like, this is going to make traveling across the Northeast Corridor a more pleasant experience. In terms of how smooth the ride is, honestly, I feel like at higher speeds, the train is smoother. When you go a little bit slow, it's a little bit bumpy, a little bit wobbly, but especially when we were hitting, 150 miles an hour, you could walk around easily. Another improvement is the Wi-Fi speed. My friend was telling me that they were able to watch Netflix while connected to the Wi-Fi. Love the way they've set up the cafe car, especially with that self-serve kiosk. Now you don't have to wait in line when you want to order food anymore, if the kind of food you want is at the kiosk. A huge improvement. Bathrooms, spacious. Overall, I can't wait to ride this train again tomorrow.
The New York City skyline is coming into view, and I'm sitting here soaking in the last few minutes on this train. Not to be cheesy, but that's a smile you can't fake. I love riding new trains. There's so many things about this channel that I enjoy doing, digging into history, exploring new systems, but ever since I was a little kid, new trains have fascinated me. And these NextGen Acelas have everything that I would want in a new train. They're really going to improve rail service in this part of the country. I can't wait for these to be the standard.
And we're at New York Penn Station. I can't believe we just rode the new Acela. I am so grateful to Amtrak for inviting me on this celebration. Such a special day. So grateful to all of you also for watching this video, but also for getting me to the place where stuff like this can happen. We'll be riding this train more in the future, including tomorrow. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time.